As the trailer continues, the emotional pressure tightens, and it becomes clear that episode 5 is built around one unavoidable breaking point. James is no longer just struggling in silence, he is visibly unraveling. We see him alone more often, lost in thought, weighed down by the expectations placed on him since childhood. Mortimer's voice doesn't even need to be loud anymore. His control lives inside James now, shaping his fear, his hesitation, and his self-doubt. The trailer strongly hints that James believes loving Ruby is not just risky, but selfish, as if choosing her means choosing chaos, disappointment, and failure in his father's eyes. That belief slowly poisons every tender feeling he has, turning love into something that feels dangerous instead of safe. Ruby senses the shift immediately. The trailer shows her watching James carefully, noticing how his warmth fades into distance. There is a painful realism in the way this is portrayed. No dramatic fight, no sudden explosion, just a growing emotional gap that neither of them knows how to close. Ruby looks like someone bracing herself for bad news she already expects. She has always been honest, always brave, and now she is forced into a position where honesty might cost her the person she loves. The first look suggests that she will try to hold on, but also that she will not beg. Her strength is quiet, and that makes what's coming even more devastating. The trailer also hints at how isolated James feels at school. The whispers, the looks, the unspoken judgment all surround him, reminding him that his life is constantly being observed and evaluated. His relationship with Ruby is no longer just personal. It is political, social, and dangerous in the world he comes from. Mortimer's influence stretches far beyond the walls of their home, and James knows it. Every step toward Ruby feels like a step away from the life he was raised to protect. And that fear begins to outweigh his happiness. One of the most unsettling elements in this section of the trailer is how love starts to feel like guilt. James looks ashamed of wanting something for himself. He looks like someone preparing to disappoint everyone, no matter which choice he makes. Ruby, meanwhile, appears caught between hope and heartbreak. She still believes in what they share, but the trailer makes it painfully obvious that belief alone may not be enough. There are moments where it feels like she is already grieving the loss of something that hasn't fully ended yet. By the time this part of the trailer fades, the message is clear and deeply unsettling. Episode 5 is not building toward reconciliation, it is building towards surrender. Not because love disappears, but because fear grows louder. James is standing at the edge of a decision that will define him, and Ruby is about to learn that sometimes loving someone means watching them walk away. The tension is no longer about whether they care for each other. It is about whether caring is enough. The third part of the trailer shifts the focus from quiet tension to emotional consequences. And this is where episode 5 begins to feel truly heartbreaking. The first look strongly suggests that the moment everyone has been dreading is finally here. James is pushed into a conversation he can no longer avoid, and the weight of everything he has been suppressing starts to spill out. His body language alone speaks volumes. He looks defeated, like someone who has already lost the fight before saying a single word. The trailer hints that this is not a dramatic breakup filled with anger or blame. Instead, it feels painfully restrained, as if James is choosing words that hurt him just as much as they hurt Ruby. Ruby's reaction is where the emotional impact truly lands. She doesn't explode, she doesn't scream. She listens, and that makes it worse. The trailer shows her processing every word, every hesitation, every excuse that sounds more like fear than truth. There is a deep sense of betrayal, not because James stops loving her, but because he stops fighting for them. The first look makes it clear that what breaks Ruby is not rejection, but the realization that James does not believe he is strong enough to choose her. That kind of heartbreak is quiet, but it lingers. At the same time, the trailer subtly reminds us that Ruby is standing at the beginning of a future she worked incredibly hard for. Her opportunity should feel empowering, but instead it isolates her further. The contrast is striking. On one side, she is being offered a world full of possibility. On the other, she is losing the person who made her feel understood. The trailer suggests that this success becomes another unspoken wall between them, feeding James's insecurity and Mortimer's manipulation. It's not just about love anymore, it's about worth, belonging, and fear of being left behind. James, meanwhile, appears haunted by his own decision almost immediately. There are brief glimpses of regret written all over him. He looks like someone who acted out of fear rather than truth. and now has to live with it. The trailer makes it clear that this choice does not bring him peace. It brings emptiness. Mortimer may get what he wants, but the cost is visible on James's face. His obedience does not look like victory. It looks like loss. As this section of the trailer comes to an end, the emotional damage is already done. No shouting, no dramatic cliffhanger, just two people standing on opposite sides of a moment that cannot be undone. Episode 5 is shaping up to be the kind of episode that doesn't shock through spectacle, but through emotional realism. The kind that stays with you long after the screen goes dark, reminding you that sometimes the most painful endings, the final moments of the trailer, leave us with a lingering sense of emotional aftermath rather than closure, making it clear that Episode 5 is not the end of the pain, but the beginning of its consequences. Ruby appears more alone than ever, yet there is a quiet determination in the way she carries herself. The first look suggests that heartbreak does not break her spirit, but it does change her. She is no longer the girl waiting to be chosen. She is someone learning how to move forward despite the hurt. That shift is subtle, but powerful, and it signals that Ruby's journey is about to take a more independent and challenging turn. James, on the other hand, seems trapped inside the choice he made. The trailer shows him surrounded by everything he was supposed to want, yet looking more lost than before. Mortimer's victory feels hollow, and the emotional distance between father and son is wider than ever. James doesn't look relieved. He looks empty, as if giving up Ruby has stripped something essential from him. The first look strongly implies that this is not a clean break for him. Guilt follows him everywhere, and the weight of what he sacrificed becomes impossible to ignore. There is also a strong sense that the world around them is moving on, even as they struggle to keep up. School life continues. Expectations remain. Pressure builds. The trailer hints that both Ruby and James will be forced to grow separately, shaped by loss rather than comfort. And while they are no longer together, their connection does not simply disappear. It lingers in glances, in silence, in moments where it's clear that neither of them has truly moved on. What makes this ending so effective is its restraint. The trailer does not promise easy reconciliation or dramatic revenge. Instead, it promises emotional honesty. Episode 5 is setting the stage for a story about consequences, resilience, and the cost of choosing fear over love. It asks a difficult question without answering it. How do you live with a choice that protects others but destroys you? As the trailer fades out, one thing becomes certain. This episode will not just change the direction of the season, it will redefine who these characters are. Hearts will be broken, futures will be reshaped, and nothing in Maxton Hall will feel the same again. The knock at the door is all it takes to destroy everything James and Ruby were holding on to. The trailer for Maxton Hall Season 2. Episode 5 doesn't just tease drama. It promises emotional fallout, broken trust, and a choice that will change both of their lives forever. What was once secret and safe is now exposed, and the consequences are coming fast. Section 1. The first look at Episode 5 makes one thing painfully clear. Mortimer is not done, and this time his interference cuts deeper than ever before. The trailer opens with a heavy, uneasy silence, the kind that comes right after something beautiful has already been ruined. James and Ruby are no longer living in that soft, protected bubble they tried to build in Episode 4. Instead, everything feels tense, fragile, and on the verge of collapse. Mortimer's presence looms over every moment, even when he is not physically in the room. His control, his expectations, and his quiet cruelty press down on James, leaving him visibly shaken. We see James struggling, not just with his feelings for Ruby, but with the fear that loving her might cost him everything he has ever known. His face alone tells the story of a boy trapped between loyalty and love, between obedience and honesty. Ruby, on the other hand, appears stronger on the surface, but deeply wounded underneath. The trailer hints at her confusion and growing heartbreak as she begins to realize just how powerful Mortimer's influence really is. She believed that keeping their relationship private would protect it, but now she is forced to face the truth that secrecy cannot shield them forever. There is a quiet sadness in her expressions, a sense that she already feels the distance forming even before James says a single word. The warmth and safety she once felt around him now comes with uncertainty, and that uncertainty hurts more than open rejection ever could. What makes this first look especially unsettling is how calm everything appears while falling apart. There are no loud arguments yet, no dramatic confrontations shown outright. Instead, the tension lives in pauses, in avoided eye contact, in words left unsaid. James seems torn apart from the inside, clearly aware that Mortimer's approval has a price, and that price may be Ruby. The trailer suggests that James is being pushed toward a decision he is not ready to make, one that will haunt him long after the moment passes. At the same time, Ruby's future begins to complicate everything. The opportunity in front of her should feel like a dream, but instead it becomes another weight added to an already unbearable situation. The trailer subtly hints that her success is not being celebrated by everyone, especially not by those who feel threatened by it. For James, this creates a quiet fear that he is falling behind, that Ruby's world is expanding while his is closing in. Mortimer knows exactly how to exploit this insecurity, and the trailer makes it clear that he will not hesitate to do so. By the end of this first section of the trailer, one truth stands out above all others. Episode 5 is not about love being tested, it is about love being cornered. James and Ruby are no longer fighting external obstacles together. They are being pulled in opposite directions, and the emotional damage has already begun. Whatever happens next will not be easy, and it will not be gentle. This is the calm before the heartbreak, and nothing about it feels safe anymore. Knee knock at the door is all it takes to destroy everything James and Ruby were holding on to. The trailer for Maxton Hall Season 2. Episode 5 doesn't just tease drama. It promises emotional fallout, broken trust, and a choice that will change both of their lives forever. What was once secret and safe is now exposed, and the consequences are coming fast. Section 1. The first look at Episode 5 makes one thing painfully clear. Mortimer is not done, and this time his interference cuts deeper than ever before. The trailer opens with a heavy, uneasy silence, the kind that comes right after something beautiful has already been ruined. James and Ruby are no longer living in that soft, protected bubble they tried to build in Episode 4. Instead, everything feels tense, fragile, and on the verge of collapse. Mortimer's presence looms over every moment, even when he is not physically in the room. His control, his expectations, and his quiet cruelty press down on James, leaving him visibly shaken. We see James struggling, not just with his feelings for Ruby, but with the fear that loving her might cost him everything he has ever known. His face alone tells the story of a boy trapped between loyalty and love, between obedience and honesty. Ruby, on the other hand, appears stronger on the surface, but deeply wounded underneath. The trailer hints at her confusion and growing heartbreak as she begins to realize just how powerful Mortimer's influence really is. She believed that keeping their relationship private would protect it, but now she is forced to face the truth that secrecy cannot shield them forever. There is a quiet sadness in her expressions, a sense that she already feels the distance forming even before James says a single word. The warmth and safety she once felt around him now comes with uncertainty, and that uncertainty hurts more than open rejection ever could.